Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here, joined by Coach Holt on a glorious Tuesday morning. Glorious because, man, it was a great wraparound weekend. You had the 4-game series that ended yesterday. The Dodgers took 3 out of 4 from the Snakes in the desert. The Arizona Diamondbacks had been the best offensive team for the last 30 days. Dodgers go in there and outscore them and come out with 3 out of 4. They now increase their lead in the NL West to 5 games over the Padres, 6 over the D-backs. So, Coach, what a weekend it was.
Well, it was a great weekend, Case. They, I sat there on Roku Sunday and watched that, and then saw some of the messages on our social media. Some of our folks, some of our love. We love the Dodger fans. They were all ready to slice our wrist on Sunday because that was kind of an ugly one. But,
yeah.
But winning 3 out of 4, like you said, against a very hot, very good team that had been playing very well. It's a great weekend, and the Dodgers brought the offense out outside of Sunday. Sunday was just one of those. It is what it is. That I don't even count that. You win 3 out of 4 on the road against a good team, and you score a lot of runs in doing so. So it was a very good weekend.
I think the maturity showed. You mentioned Sunday. It is what it is. That's easy to say, harder to do maybe if you're a player or a manager, especially with the amount of critiquing and criticism that this organization gets now in the microscope they're in since they've gotten Oh-MY-Tani. But I really felt like it showed the maturity of Dave Roberts, the maturity of the leadership of this team. Just to brush off Sunday as, hey, guys, it happens. It is what it is. We had to bring up a rookie to come pitch, and it didn't happen for him. Then he had to take it on the chin for the team. So it is what it is. Let's recoup, and let's win on Sunday. A lot easier to talk about doing, a lot harder to do. The Dodgers did a great job of it.
Well, we love Justin Robleski because he's an OSU guy. He's our guy, and he come up with a tough start against a tough team, and
sure did.
He just faced had a tough time. But what you said, Case, is big. He took one for the team. He said his ERA skyrocketed, but he knew he had to give innings. He knew that the Dodgers were going to go with him because we were already out of it after the 8-run inning, pretty much out of it. And he just kept in there and got to the 6th inning, got 5 or 6 innings. Robo took it for the team, and he gained a lot of respect. Probably already had it anyway because he's that guy, but he gained a lot of respect with not only his manager, the staff, the organization, but his teammates more importantly. And he just went out there and wore it like a true professional. And every professional pitcher has had one of those days, and he took it and ran with it because that was the best thing to do for the team at that time. Mm-hmm. They couldn't go to the pen the 2nd inning. So.
I've heard you say it before, Coach. Hey, kid, see you in the 5th. That's up to you how many runs are on the board, but see you in the 5th.
That's tough. I haven't got any help for you yet. We haven't got anybody ready. So, yeah, okay. I'm very proud of Justin, but he's a professional. Those guys know how to do that.
Absolutely, and he will absolutely bounce back, no doubt about that.
Yes, he will.
One thing I really loved about yesterday, Coach, the Diamondbacks, they tried to play some small ball. They bunted the 3rd inning when they were down 3, which, hey, that we like aggressive baseball. That we like the small ball aspects of it at times. I mean, neither one of us are like, hey, bunt every time you get a runner on, anything like that.
Right.
We just feel like there are strategic times to where you do need to move runners. You do need to play some small ball. I did not feel like down three runs, down 2-1 the series already, was the time for the D-backs to bunt in the 3rd inning. Jack Flaherty had given up a hit. He had given up a walk, and then he had gotten into a 2-0 count. And I know Perdomo is down in the lineup, but I just didn't feel like right there was a good time for the D-backs to bunt. I felt like that bunt, even though they scored 1 run, actually gave Jack Flaherty the momentum back.
No, I agree. I would have totally agree with you on that case. All that shows me, though, is the manager, Lovello, the confidence he has in his team. That's a two-way street right there. It's kind of like, that's not something I would do, you would do. That's probably not what he would do in a normal situation. But he's telling his team, we're down 3. We're still going to play here because I got confidence. We're still going to do it. To me and you and everybody else in baseball probably go, what are you doing there? You're down 3. What are you letting a button down for? But I think that speaks volumes of the confidence he has. Well, he should. He has a very good offensive team, a great young talent. But in the big scheme of things, in baseball managing, no, that wasn't a good move. But in the long run, it might have been a good move to say, hey, I got confidence we can come back.
I just kind of felt like the Dodgers had put him in a little bit of a panic mode. Right. And sometimes as a manager, whenever you feel things slipping away like it did over the weekend for the Diamondbacks and you have a young team, you kind of feel like you have to do something as a manager instead of just letting the game play
right. Yep.
and being patient. I felt like instead of being patient, I felt like Lovello felt like he had to make something happen as a manager, and sometimes it's the worst thing you can do.
No, we've all been guilty of that. I know I have as a coach on the high
school. Many times.
Thinking, you're sitting there, and then right after it happens, you think, you idiot. You just let the game develop. It's a long game. There's a lot of ways to win or lose a game, but we've all been guilty of that. I've done it on hundreds of occasions, probably in 29 years or whatever, 34 years of baseball. So, I can't even count. But so, no, I agree with you. Sometimes you feel like you have to do something, and in the big scheme of things, you probably really
I got to
don't.
do something.
I got to do something to change this, and sometimes it works. You look like a genius, and go, hey, let's go. Look at that guy, he's whatever. But then when it doesn't work, you look like a fool. That's the nature of baseball, and I learned that a long time ago. So do we all.
Yeah, and then what was really beautiful, the Diamondbacks, they try to steal a guy in the sixth, and Will Smith throws another runner out. And then you get the 2 walks, and then Alex Vesia comes in and puts out the fire. And then what I really liked about that the next inning, the Dodgers beat the Snakes at their own game. So after throwing a runner out and squandering some more momentum, so you bunt in the 3rd inning, then the 6th inning you have momentum, then you get a runner thrown out, then you get 2 walks, and then Alex Vesia gets out of it. After that, it's like the Dodgers kind of slap him on the face, like, oh, you guys want to play that style of game, right? Well, here's how it's actually done. Oh-My-Tani gets a hit, steals 2 bases, 2 singles later, and a sac fly. The Dodgers have added 3 runs. So if you're Torey Lovello and you're the Diamondbacks and you're sitting there going, hey, that's our style of game. That's how we're supposed to win. And the Dodgers just hit 3 singles, stole 2 bases, and hit a sac fly as if to slap us on the face and to say, hey, whatever style of game that you want to play, we're better at it than you are. I really felt like that was more than just 3 runs. It was a statement to the game, and it was a statement to the Diamondbacks that we can beat you in any which way.
Well, and I think we all feel like the Dodgers are very capable of that. Not only yesterday, but every day they walk out there. I mean, let's face it, Ohtani's a freak of nature. I mean, he's going to put up numbers, home runs, and steals that I don't think anybody will ever break unless it's him. The things he can do at the leadoff position, getting on base, stealing second and third base without a throw if you get right down to it. I mean, the guy just changes things. Right. Single, they scored runs. I think we've talked about this in other sports and including baseball. If you can do all the little things, the Dodgers, you want to play Earl Weaver 3-run homer ball. We got some guys that can do that too, by the way. Freddie hit 2 today, but
right.
But if you want to move runners around, steal second, third, we got a 6'5" freak out here of nature who can do that and get on base and steal bases. And we got some guys that can hit behind him. So, when you can do it all, and I think the Dodgers on their, baseball's not a game of perfection. If they had a perfect game, Dodgers can go any way you want to go.
Absolutely.
We can play long ball with you.
Yep.
We can play small ball. We can move runners with you. And I think that's a great sign moving forward for this ball club that they're capable of playing anyway. They don't have to rely on the 3-run homer, or they just have to rely on moving runners because they don't have any pop. They've got it. They've got it all when they're right, healthy, and on task.
No doubt. And we talk a lot about executing offense and not just relying on the 3 true outcomes. Hitting home runs, walking, and striking out. And when we say that doesn't mean that we don't like home runs.
Oh, yeah.
We would prefer that Freddie Freeman hit 2 home runs and the Dodgers slug every single game they go out. But it's just kind of like, you drive for the show, putt for the dough type of deal.
Yep.
You just, as a baseball fan in these 1-run close games, you just would like for the Dodgers to have that part of the offense in their bag, and they definitely have had that. How about this? Because of that, Coach, since the trade deadline, the Dodgers are 21-9, which means in their last 30 games, they've won 70% of their games. And the thing about it is, you got to give it up to Dave Roberts.
Yep.
And the reason is, first of all, you haven't had your top 2 pitchers, Tyler Glasnow, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. In that stretch, the Dodgers have had the 5th best ERA. They've scored the 5th most runs, which, that's not unbelievable. But they've had the 15th best ERA. So, it's not like they've been first, and the guys have just been playing just incredibly. It's like they've had to find ways to win. Dave has had to find ways to manage to win, and they've won 70% of their games in their last 30. It's been an amazing run.
Well, and look at the combinations he's had. I'm talking about lineups.
Yes.
With the injuries. We talked about this last year. He should have been the manager of the year last year. I don't care they didn't win the World Series. I do care, but I'm just saying, not because of that, because he overcame losing the entire starting rotation, and they won by 14 games. Same way here. They got doesn't get enough respect as a true manager. And like I said, it is what it is. A guy manages the Yankees isn't going to get it either. If you don't win every game, you're an idiot. I mean, it's kind of the nature of the Yankees, Dodgers, Dallas Cowboys, all the elite people. If you don't win them all, you're nuts. So, but I think you look. It's how many different people we talk about. The lineup combinations. How many guys have been in and out of the lineup due to injuries, due to some nagging injuries, and you bring guys in, Kiermaier, Tommy Edman. You bring people in. All of a sudden, you look and they're still getting it done in a variety of ways. That speaks volumes for the managerial staff and everybody else here.
Talked about it at the very beginning of the year. We felt like this crew had enough talent on it to where it didn't always have to be the start. Now, yesterday, obviously, 17 hits. Everybody hit. Everybody in the starting lineup had a hit except for Kike Hernandez. But what excited guys like you and I the most was the fact that we felt like this lineup was deep enough to where it could be a different guy every day. A couple of days ago, it was Tommy Edman. A couple times it's been Kike Hernandez. Chris Taylor got things going with a double yesterday. And so the lineup finally, in my opinion, has extended offensively to be exactly what we thought it would be in a lineup to where, hey, if Shohei and Freddie don't hit one day, it's long enough to where other guys can pick up the slack.
And you look at Teoscar goes 5 for 5. Didn't hit a home run. The home run champ of the All-Star game didn't hit a home run, but he goes 5 for 5.
Good point, Coach.
That gives you an idea of what this lineup's capable of doing. This guy's squaring things out. I think he's over 270. I think he puts him over 270 somewhere in there, a little bit higher than his career average. He goes 5 for 5. And Freddie hits 2. I think they mentioned on Roku Network the other day. I didn't necessarily agree with it. Third inning, he pulled Mookie and Freddie. The game was over theoretically. It's kind of like a run for white tail. No, those guys. If you knew, Freddie still got the finger there, kind of take. If he can get a chance to rest some guys, he did. And I think he did that Sunday. Comes back, Freddie hits 2 bombs the next day. Mookie gets a couple of. Come on. I think that was a good idea. Dave knows his ball club better than anybody else. He knows which injuries, which guys need rest. Anytime he can get those guys a break, he does that. And I think that was a great point right there, and it paid off big time. But look up down the lineup. We didn't even have Lux in there. He's been one of our best hitters.
Right.
He didn't even play at all yesterday. Got him a day off. So. But then you have, these guys all getting, like I said, Teoscar 5 for 5. Edman, I think, had a couple of hits, and everybody, like I said, except for Kike. But it was just a great exhibition of baseball for the Dodgers up and down the lineup.
It absolutely was. And Dave Roberts, we mentioned, he's one of the best managers, maybe the best manager in baseball at managing to the big picture. You mentioned taking out Freddie and Mookie whenever he felt like he had a chance, having Justin Robleski wear one for the team to make sure that they could win yesterday, something of which they did. And we also mentioned, though, we've said it, we've been very strong with this. We felt like the Diamondbacks and the Padres pushing the Dodgers would be a good thing for Dave Roberts in the way that he manages, and then also a veteran-laden team who can get a little bit too big picture at times. He can get too comfortable, and it feels like there's not a sense of urgency enough, either in the at-bats or the decisions that are made, this and that. So we felt like it was going to create a sense of urgency that we felt like the Dodgers really needed. Having said that, is a 5-game lead enough to go back to big picture mode for Dave Roberts?
I don't think so. I don't think those guys are going away. I don't think the Padres and the D-backs, they're a very, very good team, first of all, and very confident teams. I don't think we can go into coast mode. You go back last year, was a big discussion last year with the Dodgers and the Braves. Oh, the big lead, they get the time off, they come back, they both get their tails beat. There's no time off. 5-game lead doesn't that can disappear quickly in the big leagues. We've seen it. Look at the Astros. I'm not a big Astros fan, but it's nuts what those guys have done over there. They said a team has never come back from whatever their start was, 17 and 42, whatever it was. Now they're 5 games ahead. That they may do something no team's ever done. So
yeah, they dominated the Royals.
Oh yeah, this is a big time. This is a big time part of the season. I like the fact that the Dodgers can't go in coast mode.
Yeah,
I do. I like the fact they're having to go, and Dave's got to do everything.
But do you wear down if you stay in that mode? I mean, can you stay in that mode for the rest of the entire regular season, then stay in that mode all the way through the? Do you need kind of a break from that for a little bit?
Well, I don't think so, because he's using so many different people.
Good point. Great point.
Barnes is catching a bunch. Kike's played. He's got the people he do with Tommy Edman, Kiermaier. With Barnes doing a lot of catching, getting Will some rest, knowing he needs it, which he does.
Agree.
I think he can, because he can get these guys. He's got the guys he can rest with. We're not just taking a day off. We got guys we can actually do it with. So, I think because right now with the team he has, he's got a lot of guys capable of doing that. And I think that the fact he can play so many people, that gives you time. There will be no coach mode here, but you got time to rest some guy. You can rest Freddie once in a while. He's already proven that.
Yeah.
Oh-Tani's on one, probably hadn't really got a whole lot of rest, but he's DH and he's not playing defense. So just let him go out there and get 60, whatever happens. But the rest of those guys, you can find somewhere to get them, because you have people that can do that. Like I said, we set out Lux yesterday, one of our best guys, and we still were able to roll. So Edman and Kiermaier, I don't think you can underestimate those pickups. And I know they've wanted Edman all year. They loved Edman while he's waiting on him to get healthy. But those are big pickups for the Dodgers in a lot of reasons, because, Kike can come in. Edman played outfield yesterday, I think. He can play shortstop. He's kind of the same mold as the guys we've got, but a high-level professional baseball player. And that's great to see.
Yeah, and, the rotations, one, it keeps everybody healthy. It keeps everybody as fresh as you possibly can. You mentioned that. But also, Coach, I talk about this a lot. We see it at Oklahoma State with Josh Holliday. He is the master at this. It also creates those internal competitions, like with the Tommy Edman and the Kevin Kiermaier, like, hey, man, I want to be the guy that gets the most amount of playing time, so I got to outperform this guy. I know they're brothers, and they love each other, and they go out to dinner together. In the minor leagues, they live together, right? But it's still, I mean, there's no better situation than to have 4 or 5 to 6 guys that are all competing with each other, all for that extra playing time, if you will. Those internal competitions really keep a team hungry.
And the most successful ones we know through history, it's been proven over and over again. I'll never forget Matt Holliday came back to Stillwater, and after the 11th season when the Cardinals won it, they had a thing here at Stillwater for him and Brett Anderson and Josh Fields, the big leaguers.
I remember that.
You may have even come to it.
I was there. Yeah. I was there at the basketball game.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that Matt said, which we already knew by watching the Cardinals that year, they come in as a wild card and win it all. In the big game, Game 6 against the Rangers, he said, we played for each other. That's all he had to say. And that's what those guys do. Like you said, there's internal. Yeah, not only does guys on this team want my job, there's a guy in Oklahoma City that's got, 30 home runs. Or, there's a 19-year-old down here, Cat, it's a stud that wants my job. So it's not only on the ball club, the guys you eat dinner with and go hang out with, it's everywhere. So they have that internal competition. To keep that, that's great. That keeps each player sharp, the starter sharp, everybody sharp. But if the big gets down to it, the big scheme of things, they're playing for each other. You can already get the feel of the Dodgers doing that now. You can already kind of get the feel. It's not playoff time yet. It's not time to turn that switch on, but you can see them kind of. To me, I can see them kind of heading that way. Like, hey, I kind of like the way this team is made up.
It's made up of a bunch of people and a bunch of guys that want to win a World Series. You really definitely get that feel for the Dodgers, Coach. But, hey, it really feels like, and this will be the last a conversation or topic that we have today, but it just feels like this is the result of a team that won the offseason, Shohei Ohtani, and, obviously you get Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Teo Hernandez, and all these guys that you brought over in the offseason. And then it also feels like a team that continued that momentum at the trade deadline and also won the trade deadline. This is a front office that, if you're a Dodgers fan, and I just, every time I hear criticism of Andrew Friedman in the front office, I just like, what are we talking about? I mean, so it just feels like this is the results of a team that the front office went and beat everybody else in baseball in the offseason and the trade deadline. Now the team on the field's beating everybody else too.
It's like you said, they won the offseason, won the trade deadline. went through a tough time. I mean,
yes.
Case, I mean, you look at some of these teams still hadn't come out of it. Baltimore,
right.
The Yankees, they got off these big starts. Some of them have never come out of their slide. The Dodgers fought through that slide, and now look at them. Like I said, 21-9 their last 30. So, they've been challenged on so many different levels, on the field, off the field. And to do what they're doing right now, I know the season's not over, still got a lot of time left, but they're headed the right way. And I love the part there's so many different guys contributing and contributing big. Even in the pitching, I mean, he's got a lot of new faces out there, and they're getting the job done. They're battling their guts out. Those guys are having to put some time in. And like I said, Robleski, as we know, the old domino effect. If he don't do that Sunday, we probably don't win yesterday, because I think we probably used 6 pitchers yesterday. That wouldn't have been available if you had to go get Robo in the 3rd inning. Then but he stood up like a man, and like I said, he earned a lot. He earned his stripes for the ball club there, whether he ends up staying with them all year or not.
Agree.
From now on, those guys know what kind of guy he is, and that's what it takes with all of them. They're all approaching a lot of things. So.
I lied. I do that all the time, Coach. Well, I don't lie all the time, but I always say that, hey, last thing we're going to talk about, then it's not like we have 5 more things we're going to talk about.
Do. One more. Run one more time.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly right. That's Coach speak.
That. One more. Let's go.
No doubt about it. One thing that I've really loved about this team, if you remember, they were scuffling a little bit before the Yankee series, and then they went and beat the Yankees. There were, it was a period of time to where people were wondering what was going to happen.
Yep.
Maybe with the D-backs here. Yeah, you were beating some teams that weren't playing very good at the time. But hey, here comes the Diamondbacks, who's been the hottest team in baseball, the best offensive team maybe in the last 30 days. It seems like every time this team has had a moment to rise to the occasion this year, they have done that. I think that directly relates and translates to playoff success.
I think you even saw that Sunday. They had the shortstop, the Diamondback shortstop was mic'd up. He's talking about this is a playoff atmosphere. He said, they don't see this every night. The Dodgers are in town. We know how many. There's tons of fans in the Phoenix area for obvious reasons. It's close to L.A. They play there in the spring training games. There's tons of L.A. fans, not only all over the country, but really in Phoenix. He said, this is a playoff atmosphere. This is awesome. It's good for those guys, too. And the Dodgers roll in there, it's probably not like some places. It's probably half and half, basically, Dodgers and Diamondback fans when they're playing in Phoenix. But still, it's a big crowd. There's some hate coming at you from the D-backs, and you're still able to pull it off and win 3 out of 4. That's a great sign. And like I said, we're all kind of concerned about this one, 4-game series with the D-backs, even though we know we've been playing good, and you win 3 out of 4. So it's just a great accomplishment in the big scheme of things for this series.
Agreed, Coach. And it's been a lot of fun, and it's going to be a lot of fun with the 2-game freeway series, and then here come the Guardians.
Yep.
So it's going to be, it's the rubbers met the road, and the Dodgers have met the challenge. So it's been a lot of fun. Coach, hey, another great show. It's been a lot of fun getting to talk to you again. Great to see your face, and I love you, man.
Love you too, Case, and it's great to get back on with it. Talk to you in a couple days, and go Dodgers.
Okay, I want to thank everybody else for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun watching the Dodgers play. It's always a lot of fun to watch the Dodgers play. But, hey, thank you for everybody for tuning in. And as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.